Champ, thanks for joining me, man. I wanted to catch up with you. Obviously, we had a busy weekend in your division, and Eblen got the win. Impa looked
Yeah.
really good. I kind of wanted to check in with you and see, first of all, if you watched the fights, and second of all, what you thought. Let's start with the main event.
With the main event, Eblen against Brian. That was a great fight, man. I mean, when after I saw that fight, all right, Johnny Eblen is next. He deserves it. And we had a close fight. He was beating me on points, and it was going to be a split decision. But I was going to have a split decision loss if it went to the points. But it didn't because I choked him out. So I really believe that he's the next in line, even though Impa had a beautiful performance as well. So I was like, man, whatever PFL wants, let PFL choose. I'll fight any of them. I really believe in myself. So it doesn't matter who they put in front of me. I'll just prove everybody that I'm the best middleweight fighter in the world.
What were you expecting from the Eblen battle fight? Did you expect it to be longer than that? Did you think Eblen was going to come out and just put it on him as fast as he did? Was it the version that you expected of him?
I'm going to be totally honest. I mean, I think every MMA, at least every professional MMA athlete would have known that Eblen was going to win. I mean, yes, he comes from the UFC, Brian Battle. But what do people think? That because they're from UFC, they're better fighters? No, fuck that. Fucking PFL, we got the best fighters in the world as well. And Johnny Eblen is one of the best middleweight fighters in the world. And then they put Battle against Eblen. Yeah. I mean, if I would have had a lot of money, I would have put it on Eblen 100%. Because, yeah, as you've seen, I would have thought it would have took at least a little bit longer. Because he did finish it really quick. Hats off to Eblen for that. But, he actually, how do you say this? Ragdolled him. He actually, was quite
how
a
does
beatdown.
It feel? Obviously, now you've defended your belt. You won Eblen. You won the fight against Eblen. You've defended against Fabian. Do you really feel ownership over that belt, or do you really feel like you need to drive it home that you're the better fighter than Eblen? Like, I'm interested to know your thoughts, because straight away after you fought Fabian, you were talking about the rematch with Eblen. It's almost like you kind of want to prove a point as well.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I mean, being a champion is not only defending. I believe being a champion is also fighting against the best fighters and proving that you are a champion. And I really do believe that Eblen is one of the best fighters, middleweight fighters in the world. So was Fabian Edwards, though. And look how I beat Fabian Edwards. And of course, it's like a circuit. It's Fabian Edwards, Johnny Eblen, Costello Van Steenis. There's also Impa. But between us, the first three, Eblen had a hard fight against Fabian. I just beat Fabian. I had a hard fight against Eblen. So I want to prove him, and I want to prove the world. Of course, he had a good fight against me in South Africa. At the end of the day, I won in the last 10 seconds. But I've got so much more to prove then, and that's why I want to fight Eblen. I said that before his fight, a week before his fight. After my fight, I said, I want to fight Eblen again. If he wins, I want to fight him again. Just to prove him and prove everybody that it was not a fluke and that I'm a lot better. Every fight I'm getting better, but I could have showed a lot more in the South Africa fight, but I want to show it now.
The fact that last fight that you had together was so close, and the fact that it did come down to the last seconds to determine that you were absolutely the winner of the fight. Does it change the way that you approach the next fight? I always wonder, because I didn't have too many rematches in my career, but I always wondered if I could walk into the dressing room before the first fight as the version that had already faced the guy. You know what I mean? If I could give myself some advice, like, what would be your advice going into a rematch with him if you could, if you could, like, project yourself ahead?
I'd say don't get taken down that many times.
Easy done though, right?
He did. Hats off to him. He did take me down a couple of times, and I was telling in training nobody was taking me down at that moment. And then, in the fight, he took me down a couple of times. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. Okay, I need to respect his wrestling a little bit more, and that's what we'll do in the next fight. And just let my hands go loose, defend the takedowns, and punch him even a little bit harder than last time.
It's a credit to your conditioning, though. I mean, his nickname's Pressure for a reason, but most fighters would have fallen apart at some point in the fourth or fifth round. I mean, he was so tired himself because of the pace that you were fighting at, and you were able to just dig a little bit deeper when you needed to. Like, what does that say about your preparation?
It's not only the preparation, Dan. Yeah, of course, preparation is everything, but I really enjoy fighting. I mean, I don't enjoy going towards the fight in the last hour, then they say, "Oh, you're up next." But in the fight, it's making me alive. I'm actually enjoying getting punched, and I'm actually enjoying even more punching the guy. And that's what makes me fight until the very end, until the referee says stop. You know, it's like I was watching back the fight against Fabian Edwards, what we had 2 weeks ago, and I remember in the second round, going to the third round, I wasn't even that tired. I just stood up and I would actually just go straight away because I really liked it. Of course, I was getting a little bit, how do you say it, in the zone towards fighting, like getting that anger. But I was always like, man, I love this shit. I wanna smash him as hard as possible. And I believe that's also got to do with not getting tired, because when you're enjoying something, you're actually not getting tired. It's like work, you know? If you're doing something that you love, you're not really working. But if you don't like it, then you're working your ass up for nothing.
Yeah, it was
You're
almost
not
like
enjoying
your
it.
excitement to see him starting to get tired just kind of overrode any tiredness that you were feeling. I remember seeing you get off the stool and
I love it.
you may not have even sat down. I just remember you looking over at the other side of the cage and you could see Fabian was slow off his stool, and it was just like a surge of motivation for you.
Yeah, 100%. No, I really enjoy it when people, of course, not outside of the sport. I don't enjoy that, but inside the sport, because we're allowed to hurt each other and see the suffering in somebody's soul and eyes. I really enjoy that.
That's
I really
scary
like it.
words, my friend. I mean, like to take enjoyment from somebody else's suffering in a professional sporting context, of course. So obviously,
Yes.
Eblen's on the
Yes.
horizon. We mentioned Impa as well. He had a really good fight. Hurt for a second, wobbled. You saw Dalton rush in and get cracked with that right hand. What would you like to see next for Impa? Obviously, if we assume that you're going to face Eblen next and beat him, then Impa with another win is most likely the next guy in line, right? What would you like to see for him next?
That's a good question. I think Brian Battle will be a nice fight against Impa. I think that's going to be a very interesting matchup because they both got heavy hands and they both like to stand against each other, you know. Eblen is the one who throws some hands and want to take you down. So it's like, it's easy to put your money on, you know. But with Impa and Brian Battle, I think that's going to be a beautiful fight to watch. And I think it's going to be a very nice, violent fight.
And then we've got Jordan Newman coming up against Josh Silveira. Is that on your radar yet? Are you going to be watching those guys?
I'm definitely going to be watching that. I don't know if I'll stay up to watch that because the time zone is different. But I got my eyes on them as well. I got my eyes on everybody in the middleweight division. But for now, my eyes are locked on Eblen because I know we're going to face each other sooner or later. And the rest are just on the sideline. But I am watching them. I'm keeping my enemies closer.
You've got to. You never know who's going to become an enemy very quickly as well in this sport. You know what I mean? Now, one question I do want to ask you, because if you look across the PFL divisions, you could make an argument that we've got a couple of divisions that are really obviously competitive with the lightweight division, with the UFC divisions. Lightweight would be one of them. Middleweight is quite clearly another one. I was just looking at the UFC rankings. I just pulled them up. I'm hoping these are up to date. But you've got Chimaev, Dricus, Imavov, Strickland, Brendan Allen, Borjalio, Joe Pyfer. Like when you look at those names, how do you kind of start to integrate the PFL fighters with those rankings? Like, where do you start stacking people?
Look, to be honest, Dan, for the people that don't do the sport, they just watch the sport. They have no idea. Middleweight, the middleweight division in the PFL is just as good as the UFC middleweight division. I mean, put us together, put the PFL against the UFC. People are going to be surprised. They're going to say, "Holy shit! Of course, you did not know that because the UFC's marketing has been going on since 1993, if I'm correct. So of course it's bigger. PFL just got born, you know. It's like a couple of years ago. So the marketing is not that on point compared to the UFC, and then people are saying, yeah, but look, there's a lot of PFL ex-Bellator fighters going towards the UFC, and they're all getting. No, that's bullshit. Because look at Eddie Alvarez. He came from PFL from Bellator, towards the UFC and became champion. And there's so many other fighters. But then you also got Brian Battle that comes from the UFC. I think he was 7-1 in the UFC, if I'm correct. And he just got, he got smashed by Johnny Eblen in the first 2-3 minutes. So if you're a fan of the sport and you don't participate in the sport, it's easy to talk. But if you do the sport and you're actually getting your bread out of it, then you can actually give your honest opinion, saying, hey, if UFC was better, I would say now UFC is a higher level, but it's not. It's not. We are just as good. Maybe some of us are even better, and maybe UFC fighters are even better than other ones. But put us in the top 10 together with the UFC and PFL. Mix the jar, let us fight together, and people will be very surprised.
We could do like a 3-on-3 or 5-on-5, like you versus UFC champ, and then
and
everybody else. That's the fight card I'd watch for sure. Okay. Last question, then I'll let you go, because I know it's beautiful and snowy outside. I'd be out throwing snowballs and making snowmen if I was you. I won't be talking to me, that's for sure. Okay, so imagine this: your first day of camp, you've got your mindset, you're ready to go into training to prepare for the rematch against Eblen, and you get an opportunity to send him a message. What's that message for the rematch?
Well, there's no point of sending in the messages. I would say, don't underestimate me again. But I don't think he will underestimate me. I think he wants to cut my head off. I'll tell him that's not going to happen. He's 17-1 and it will be 17-2. I'm very confident in myself, and the rematch is probably going to be another bad night for him.
Good luck, champ. I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait.
Because after 2 losses against me, there's no point of getting a rematch again.
So this is 2 and done in your mind then. No rematch after that needed. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome talking to you, champ. Good luck with training camp, and I will see you at the rematch.
Thank you, Dan. Yes, sir.